Hi crafty friends! In this card making tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I made this mini slimline card with floral layering dies. Hi there, my name is Nicole and I like to make card making videos here on YouTube. As always, please check the description box below for product information, links to my blog, and other crafty inspiration. As well, if you enjoyed this video, it would make me so happy if you were to give it a thumbs up. So to start the project today, I pulled out this die set from Altenew. This is their Climber Flowers die set, and I thought it would work wonderfully with this paper pad from scrapbook.com. This is the Floral Smooth Cardstock paper pad in the A2 size. They do make the same paper pad in other sizes as well, and of course, any of the sizes would work for this project. So to start out, I went ahead and separated out all the dies and matched them up with the coordinating color that I selected from that cardstock paper pad. So this was a little bit tricky at first. So I did go ahead and reference back to the front packaging of that die set, and that I found very helpful to make sure that I was cutting these out in the proper colors. So once I went ahead and sorted out all of those die cuts, I did go ahead and just start cutting them through, sending them through here my Gemini Junior die cutting machine. And I did want to note as well that I did end up needing to cut out each of these images twice, and I did use all of the die cuts in my finished project today. So once I went ahead and die cut out all those pieces, I started layering them up and piecing the images together. Once again, here I am referring back to the Altenew die packaging to see how these different images layer together. I find referring to the packaging very helpful, as sometimes it can just be overwhelming depending on the different layering die sets and how many layers a particular die set has. So once I figured out here where all these kind of pieces fit in together, then I can go ahead and start gluing these layers together. So to glue the layers together, I'm just using some liquid glue. Today I'm using the Tombow Mono Multi Liquid Glue, and I'm using these tweezers as well from scrapbook.com just to help me get perfect placement of these tiny intricate dies. So one by one here, I worked through the floral images, and then I'm going to go ahead and start working through the leaves as well, just layering them up. The other thing I wanted to note here is you can see that once I go ahead and add in that liquid glue, I do like to put just an acrylic block on the top to make sure everything dries nice and flat and smooth for my finished project. So once I go ahead and adhere all of these little pieces here together, I'm just going to set those aside and do a little bit more die cutting for my card. So I went ahead and pulled out this mini slimline essential die set bundle from Pinkfresh Studios, and I pulled out these stitched rectangles and some plain rectangles as well. And off screen, I went ahead and did some die cutting. You can see there that I cut out the stitched rectangles in this gold foiled cardstock, and then the plain rectangles in some white cardstock. And then as well, I pulled out this hello die from Simon Says Stamp and cut that out as well, once from gold and a few times from some white heavyweight cardstock. So for my card base today, I took a piece of heavyweight cardstock trimmed to 6 by 6 inches, and I'm just scoring that in half at 3 inches to create that mini slimline card base. So now that I almost have all my pieces prepared here, just my last kind of step before I start assembling is going to be to just put this hello together. So you can see that once again here, I'm just stacking up those layers of white cardstock using some liquid glue and then putting the gold foil hello on the top. So now that all my pieces here are ready, I'm going to start adhering my card kind of base or background together. So I'm starting by gluing down using some tape runner. I'm going to glue down the larger of those stitched rectangles. And then I'm going to follow that up by selecting the larger of the white rectangles. And I'm going to glue that as well down just using some tape runner. And then next up, I'm going to be gluing the smaller rectangles together as well using some tape runner. And then I'm going to be adhering these rectangles on top of the larger rectangles using some foam tape. Um, Originally, I considered using foam tape in more of the layers. However, because I have 4 layers here going, I didn't want to add foam to all the layers as I thought it might add too much bulk to my card, especially in case I end up mailing this card to the recipient. So just adding some foam tape here, like I say, to the second sort of duo of rectangles, and just going to peel off that backing tape. And then I'm going to go ahead and line that up as best I can onto those other rectangles. And then once this is done, I can move on to my floral images. So for these sort of floral images here, I'm just adding on the blossoms to the greenery, and then sort of wiggling them around on my card, deciding what kind of placement here I want to do. Really, I just tried to balance out the colored blooms with the greenery as best that I can. So once I glued down the larger images, I used those little sprigs of greenery here to kind of just balance out the colors, as well as to fill up that sort of white gap that I was left with here in the bottom right-hand corner of the card. I do want to note as well that once again, I am using liquid glue for this, just so that I do have those few seconds of wiggle room in case I need to make any adjustments to these pieces. So once I've gone ahead and added those on, I'm just going to use my bone folder here, smooth out the crease, and take a peek at my finished project. That's it, we're done. So thank you so much for watching this card making tutorial today. I hope that you were inspired by this project. And as always, I'm going to share a couple links here to other crafty projects that I've made in the past that you could check out. And until next time, I hope you are keeping it crafty.